When our dog lost the use of his hind legs because of a ruptured disc, we got a cart, a wheelchair for him. It was loaned to us from Dachshund Rescue of Houston, great organization. Unfortunately, the cart was a little small for Teddy, and it worked for him, but he was a little tight in it, so I decided to build one using that cart as a model. And I found out it was very inexpensive. As you can see in the picture, most of the parts there are 25-cent parts. The PVC 90-degree angles, the T's, all the PVC parts were about 25 cents a piece, or even a little less. There's some Ace bandage there. That was a couple of bucks. Snaps, a couple of dollars more each. And the wheels were the most expensive. The wheels came from training wheels, and the only wheels I could find, they were $8 for the whole set, the kit, training, the brackets and everything for the bike. I just took the wheels and threw the rest away. Now, it's important here that you measure your dog. You want to have the right length and also the height. Be sure on the height that you take into consideration half the wheel, because you don't want the dog to be raised too high in the back to where he's leaning forward all the time, or you don't want it too low in the back where his feet are going to drag on the floor and the carpet, because it can put some wear on your dog's feet. Would not be comfortable. Then you have to go with little booties. So it's important that you measure it. Make sure you get under the forward part of his hind legs, in like the crotch of his leg, and also bring your side tubes far enough up so that the weight of the cart, once you put the strap on across his shoulders, that it's on his shoulders and not the middle of his back. Also very uncomfortable, and it might do more damage to him if you get it up on his back like that. For an axle, I used a dowel. I drilled directly in the center of those 90-degree joints there. I have a use of a wood lathe, so I was able to get it dead center. If you don't have a wood lathe, the drill will be fine. Just try to drill it as much in the center as you can so that the cart isn't tilted one way or the other. I use the dowel because my dog only weighs about 15 pounds. It's a 3/8 dowel. Much easier to use, easier to work, and much easier on the hub of the plastic wheels than, say, metal would be, especially if it's an all-thread where you want to put bolts on the end. It's important to keep this cart as light as you can, light as possible, because the dog wants to run around and be as normal as possible, and you really can't do that if you add extra weight. This is the cart partially assembled. I didn't glue anything together at this point because I didn't know if I'd have to cut it, make anything shorter. It's probably important here that you don't make it too short, because you can't really add on. If you want to cut all your tubing a little long, that's not a problem. And I forgot to mention earlier, a 10-foot length of half-inch PVC tubing was $1.77. I used probably 4 feet of it, so it goes a long way. But don't glue anything until you're sure it's in place. And in fact, most of the joints, you don't even have to glue them. About the only thing that has to be glued are the two side rails, because once you put a strap across the front, it tends to try to pull them together. But everything else is a snug enough fit. It won't come apart. And if you do have to make any adjustments later on for the dog, even if you have to increase size by putting new pieces in, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to take them apart. It won't be a problem. I used water pipe insulation to insulate or to soften the pieces that needed to be softened for Teddy. This stuff cost about $2.50 for 4-foot length. Very inexpensive and easy to use. I hardly used any of it. As you can see, it has to be cut so that it gives him some support along his private parts. If it's a female, it's not as important because of the way she's shaped, but on a male, you need to make sure you give him some relief in there so you don't cause more damage. Once I got this in place, I used the Ace bandage that you saw earlier and just wrapped it, as you'll see in this next picture. You just kind of wrap it around to keep everything in place. You get the sticky Ace bandage, and it lasts. I mean, it sticks. It gets right on there. It doesn't unravel. I also used it up on the front where you can see the front straps that go around his chest. Sort of like a chest strap on a horse. Keeps the cart it keeps him from walking out of the cart. Keeps it in place. And then in this picture, that's the strap that goes across the two rails and keeps the weight of the front of the cart on his shoulders. The balance is pretty good. And so if you get it in the right place, it'll put just a slight amount of weight on his shoulders and not a whole lot on his back. And it works real well. He likes it. He runs around. He does well with it. You don't need a lot of mechanical experience. You don't have to be a builder. This is very simple to put together. It's like Tinker Toys. As far as tools, you need to be able to drill the holes for the axle. I use 3/8 dowel, so you need a 3/8 drill or the use of one, or ask someone to drill it for you. It's not a hard thing to do. It takes a couple of minutes. And you need some way to cut the PVC. You can buy a PVC cutter at Harbor Freight or any of those discount stores. I think I paid $3.50 for the one I used. And the rest is just assembly. It's like the old Tinker Toys. You just kind of put it together. Make sure you measure things right, a little long, so you can cut them short. The glue I use, you buy that at like Home Depot. It's a PVC glue. Now the glue does run about $4. So again, if you wanted to try super glue or something, it probably would work. Other than that, if you decide to build it, I hope this helps you. If I can help you in any way, email me through YouTube. I'll get right back to you and do anything I can to help get your dog up and running. Teddy loves his, and I'm sure he'd like to meet other dogs on the street. This is how Teddy goes into his cart. We just put him over the back end like this. Stay in the picture, Teddy. He's already ready to go. He loves his cart. Then we hook up the chest strap in the front here so that he can't walk out of the cart. That gets him pretty much ready. Then we have this strap here. The strap goes, there you go, Teddy. The strap goes over his back, goes underneath the rail on this side, then the rail on this side. We bring it around, join it together up here with a little tension. It's an elastic strap. That gets him ready to go. I keep it up forward here. Teddy's starting to get some movement of his legs. He's starting to pull his legs up. That's a good sign. We're happy to see that. But he doesn't have very good control of his bodily functions, so he also has to have, Teddy, wait. He has to have a pee pad on here to keep him from having accidents around the house. And he's pulling his leg up again. Come on, get your leg out of there. That's it. Okay, and with that, Teddy takes off. Come on, let's go, buddy.